Hi, welcome back to the Fleet Commander Nimitz playthrough. We've just completed the Battle of the Solomon Islands. Things didn't work out quite as well as we hoped. So I just want to show you now what happens after you complete the battle and finish up a turn. We'll clear the battle map. All forces are going to return to the area they came from. The bad news is, we can clear that away. The bad news is that they've got some infantry on the island, which means we don't control the Solomons anymore. So we're going to flip that to the Japanese side. The other thing is, because they've taken out the Solomons, we no longer have a continuous route back to Hawaii from over here. Except we do. We'll fire Australia. Yeah, we're okay. Because I made a mistake during the setup. The Samoan Islands down here, this Mag 13 should have been here. Which made it US controlled. They just stayed here. And instead of this Mag 13, which I took them from the supply, I should have taken something like the Mag 23 instead. They got exactly the same stats apart from their dogfighting, which I didn't use. So I'll just take the opportunity to correct that before we get too far. Alright, now we've got two battles left here in New Guinea and here in Borneo. I'm going to resolve those and then we'll come back and we'll see what happens once we've completed resolving all the battles. Good thing about the New Guinea battle, they don't have any ships. So I've got, well, we're kind of matching them for air power. They do have a strong fighter plane and a better bomber. I've got two bombers. One, the Royal Australian Air Force here can do some damage in dogfights. But I do have a carrier. And if we look at the 1942 setup, you can see that CV brings a whole bunch of air groups, which I'll take and place alongside my carrier. And some extra 4 planes with some good strength. That should be able to take out these Japanese foxholes. Damaged aircraft carrier cannot accommodate returning aircraft. Likewise, we managed to do a lot of damage to the Japanese airfields. These Japanese planes are destroyed. Yeah, the battle has ended ahead of time. We've managed to take out the Japanese infantry. We now control New Guinea. The battle for Borneo, though, is looking a little bit tougher for us. That's it, all the battles are concluded, and yeah, as expected, Borneo went pretty badly for us. The good news is, though, we strengthened New Guinea, although it's a very tentative strength. There's still conflict here in Solomon, so that's going to be critical, how we react. I definitely want to get some more carriers in here, and they've got a sub, a destroyer, a cruiser, and a battleship. That's where I think we definitely need to bring more infantry. The 48th are weakened at the moment. Let's see if we can't take Solomon. For now, though, we've moved down to the Japanese reinforced phase. And this is where we look at this section of the map up here. We start by rolling a dice. They've got a 9. And then we add 1 for each resupply. There's 6 here, so that's 15. That's just about the maximum roll they can have. However, we do get -2 for every submarine raider, so that takes them down to 13. And then we get to subtract an additional one for every damaged unit on the map, Japanese unit, okay, so because they're going to need extra support. There's one here, and there's one here in Solomon, but we don't count any for any infantry that share a spot with US infantry. So it's just one damaged unit over here. I don't think there were any more. We didn't damage any of their ships. No, so it's -1, so that takes them back down to 12. 12 still pretty good. They're going to take 3 ships, 2 infantry, and 2 land-based aircraft. Alright, and they go to the Japan area. So 2, and 3 ships. That's a lot of reinforcements. Finally, any of those damaged units, with the exception of the infantry that are currently squaring off against US forces, they go back to Japanese reinforcements. Okay, so they've been resupplied. The battalions are just going to go back here. Any regular reinforcements will just go back on the bottom of the pile and they'll get recycled through the game. Okay, that's the Japanese repair step. Now we do the US return to port. All ships that are not in the Hawaiian Islands or here at the west coast. So we'll move all ships out here on the map back to return to port. Now, depending on which campaign, we covered this in an earlier episode, they'll return to one of these boxes and these advance upwards. So in the US return to port, first thing we do is empty or move the stats one closer to Hawaii. So this lot are all going to become available for the next game turn. Meanwhile, everything else moves back to this box, leaving only our land-based aircraft and infantry out on the map, holding the crucial islands. Notice there might be a bit of disagreement on this one because the rules don't explicitly state it, but I know Dan Viersen has commented that ships in the west coast don't need to return to port. We're not having battles here, so these guys are behind the supply lines, if you like. Meanwhile, we now have to do the US supply check. And what we're trying to do here is make sure any of our forces out on the map have connection back to the west coast with US controlled spaces. So this answers the question really, why wouldn't you just go and dive in here? Well, you could dive in here, but then they would have to take attrition, and they would have all your infantry and land-based aircraft would take damage because of their lack of supply. Oh, the submarine, that should go back here as well. And the resupply counters can be removed from the board. And that's it, we've completed a campaign turn. We can now advance this and begin again. Do make sure that you haven't suffered a defeat at this point. There is a US defeat check here. Okay? Now remember, you don't want to lose the Hawaiian Islands, and you don't want to have 3 or less objectives. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're doing pretty good as it goes. 7. Okay? Just 1 objective with them. So, Solomon Islands, we've got to defend the Gilberts because they're looking vulnerable now. With just 1 little weak battalion. I might put some reinforcements down here, possibly. Don't know if I've got any. Well, we might reinforce New Guinea. And I think we can take out Solomon next time. If I can get some carriers in here to do some damage. Back up a cruiser perhaps. And do some bombing raids on the 48. We only need 1 more hit here. So it was a close thing. But yeah, I've got a feeling that Gilbert Islands is going to be a bit of a threat next time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration. A lot of people say there's lots of randomness in this, and lots of dice rolling and just making things happen. Yes, there is, but it does speed up once you get going. All right, and it's all about being in that position of having this high-level view of what's going on over the campaign map, making those kind of commander decisions, those commander-level decisions, where to push your forces. And I really like that about this. You've got to try and anticipate what's going on, how you're best using your supply. I mean, we've got a lot of forces out now. We do need some more infantry on the ground, so I think I'm going to focus my forces there. It's all about supporting these guys who are in the trenches now, I think. Thanks for watching. See you next time.